It's kind of boring to watch the same romance anime back to back, so it's always quite refreshing when new shows air. That's why today we'll be giving you the top 10 best romance anime airing right now. Number 10, I'm giving the disgraced noble lady I rescued a crash course in naughtiness.
道義に反するタイプの喜びだ。いけないことというのはな、楽しいんだ。癖になるほどな。
Starting off our list with an anime that has a really long title. The plot basically is in the title at this point, but hey, maybe that's not the kind of naughtiness you were thinking about. Our guy, Alan, who's known as the Demon Lord, let a young girl stay with him after he knew she was betrayed. As they live in his mansion, both of them might find out all of they need is each other and a speaking capybara.
どうするシャーロット。残り2分31秒だ。付け加えて言うなら、すでに呼吸がしづらくなってきているぞ。
I've never seen a capybara in anime, and I was not disappointed when I saw one here. The anime just aired in October 2023, and it's been very entertaining so far. There are a lot of characters, each with their own unique personalities, that help the show be even funnier. It's got a solid start, and hopefully it stays that way till the end. Number 9, Tear Moon Empire.
それでは行こうか。僕にしっかりと。ミヤ姫、それに捕まらなくても大丈夫だから。分かっていますわ。こんなの余裕ですわ。
How often do you get a second chance at life? Well, Mia definitely had one. After her head was cut off by guillotine. Why was she executed? Well, it's because she somehow managed to make everyone hate her. Now, back to her 12-year-old self, she does everything to restore the empire and not her head cut off because nothing beats laziness other than your upcoming death.
気に入ってもらえてよかった。足元に気をつけて。
Tear Moon Empire is somehow similar to how a realist hero built a kingdom in the sense that they both try to restore their kingdom's former glory. Mia is the best thing about this show because she may do good things, but they are still all for her selfish desires. They really show you how afraid she is of that guillotine, and it's hilarious. Also, the romance is quite subtle, for now. Number 8, Berserk of Gluttony.
どうしました？
いや、おきれいなので、見てしまいました。
With a name that somehow comes from your old MMORPG account, our boy Fate Graphite has just realized that he can be overpowered. You see, he was cursed to be hungry forever, but when he killed and he used his skill on a thief, he discovered he was able to absorb souls in his target's strengths. Now, with the beautiful Roxy, he starts his journey to become the classic OP MC.
大切にしますね。
喜んでもらえてよかったです。
This is your classic zero to hero story where the protagonist realizes his abilities weren't that weak after all, just like Arifutera. The show has a way of making you excited, and of course there's a ton of action. The way they also make the MC a bit more badass and ruthless just makes sense, seeing as his skill requires him to kill people and monsters. Not only that, our best girl Roxy might have some competition soon. Number 7, our dating story, the experienced you and an inexperienced me.
ねえリュウト、日焼け止め塗ってくれない？
なんですと？
背中が届かなくていい？
That's why they always say you should just shoot your shot because Ryuto got the dub. When he confessed to Runa because he lost a game, she unexpectedly said yes. And now our boy is in her room and she just said the word that would make all men bow at her feet. They are complete opposites, but somehow they get along and this fake relationship might become real before they know it.
大丈夫？このまま寝られる？
何？
する？
Ryuto might be shy, but he's not like Kazuma from Rent-a-Girlfriend, who's totally just hapless at this point. The animation is also very colorful, and it helps the show's lighthearted tone. Weird thing is that Runa always compares him to her ex or exes, which has to hurt, but not to the point where it becomes annoying. It's actually a pretty safe romance that you might find yourself enjoying. Number 6, the Demon Sword Master of Excalibur Academy.
さっぱりしたら学院の食堂に行きましょう。
俺がいるんだが。
そこがバスルームだからお先にどうぞ。
はい。
Demon Lords don't have a problem when it comes to exterminating the human race, but when they get stuck in a classroom full of girls, that's when they lose their minds. The Dark Lord Leonis was reincarnated into a 10-year-old human boy, and now he goes to a school that trains students to fight against horrific creatures known as the Voids, and he might enjoy or hate every bit of it.
それは。
怪我はない？ショックで記憶が混乱してるのね。
This is definitely a horror anime, and you'll realize that too after a few episodes. We have the classic tropes like the maid, the badass tomboy, the main girl, and the flirty one. With that, of course, there has to be some fan service and ecchi scenes that we'd all welcome. But it's not all that though, as there is a lot of action and most characters actually have proper backstories, which are rare in this genre. Number 5, I'm in love with the villainess.
お任せください。この身朽ち果てるまで誠心誠意お使いします。ほどほどでよくてよ。愛してます、クレア様。
You always heard about people getting reincarnated as the villainess, but what if you try to make the villainess fall in love with you instead? That was what our girl Ray did when she was reincarnated as the game's protagonist. If you can't beat your enemy, just make them fall in love with you. But will Claire fall for Ray?
信じていただけるよう頑張ります。
Yuri fans rejoice. I say again, rejoice. Finally, a Yuri anime that's fun to watch and has a lot of comedy in it. This might be the first in the genre to use Yuri elements, and it actually is pretty good. It doesn't beat around the bush, and Ray just goes all out from day one. The characters are the highlight of the series, and they make the plot more interesting than it should be. Whether you're a Yuri fan or not, just give it a try. Number 4, the 100 girlfriends who really, 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 really love you.
俺静香ちゃん大丈夫聞こえてる俺見えてる
Not only does he have 100 girlfriends, but the title also has 5 reallys, which just shows you how crazy this show's going to be. Our boy Rentaru was promised by a god that he'd find 100 girls, and the god wasn't lying. But there was a catch, because if the girls themselves don't get into a relationship with him, then they die. Yes, they die. The anime keeps getting more ridiculous, and we are loving it.
あんたがどうしてもって言うなら私もしてあげないこともないわよ。別に私は興味ないけどね。
しっかりキスポジじゃ
ないけどね。
They truly meant it when they said it to be careful what you wish for, but Rentaru seems to be living the dream. Every single trope in the genre is here, and luckily the MC isn't stupid, and he's actually enjoyable to watch. If you're watching for the plot, then I suggest you find another show, because the plot is literally summarized in the title. Number 3, the Saint's magic power is omnipotent too.
私はほとんど座ってるだけなので申し訳ないというか好きにしてくださいというかそのあれなんですけど。
What would you do if you were reincarnated into another world? Think of that you would be a hero only to know that they picked the other guy that came after you. I would just become the villain at that point, but lucky for them, our girl Sei didn't. After she was abandoned after being summoned, she meets the commander of the Third Order of Knights, and her life starts to change.
ホーク様？
あ、すまない。とても綺麗で。思わず見とれてしまった。
Season 2 is basically the continuation of the first season, which I won't spoil. The animation is still as beautiful as ever. It also looks like the romance is going to become more intense, and it's kind of a shame no one is talking about this amazing anime. It has some similarities with the sentence of a bookworm, especially in how relaxing it can be to watch. Number 2, The Ancient Magus Bride, Season 2, Part 2.
僕は君を僕のお嫁さんにするつもりでもあるんだ。
The Part 2s and Part 3s on Attack on Titan made popular has finally set its sights on romance anime, and now we're getting the Agent Magus Bride Season 2 Part 2. Of course, it continues the story from Part 1 where Chise enrolled at the college. Before this, however, she met Elias after he bought her for £5 million to be his apprentice and bride. Little did they know, she came with a curse.
大事な人のことなのでいらなくないです。
Season 2 is completely different from Season 1, not only because there was a change in studios, but the anime had a completely different tone. Now, it's become more action-packed and full of mystery. New characters are being introduced, but if you think that you won't enjoy this season because it was different from the first one, then that's where you're wrong. Number 1, Rascal does not dream of a knapsack kid.
おめでとう、舞さん。
作田とこうやって一緒に帰るのも今日で最後か。
What's worse than breaking up? Your girlfriend graduating and leaving you alone in school? As if we could relate, because we don't even have girlfriends, but Sakuta does. Mai is now graduating and puberty syndrome kicks in once more as Sakuta sees a kid version of her. Not only that, we finally get to see Sakuta and Kidai's parents.
本当に見えてないし、聞こえてないんだな。あの時の舞さんみたいに、僕も。
This might be the most heartbreaking movie yet. This series never disappoints in giving you goosebumps and even making you cry. It came back for another banger, and without spoiling it, I just have to say that it did not disappoint. The animation, the emotions, and the intensity were all there. Things just keep getting more complicated for the better, and that's why it's number 1 in our list of the best romance anime airing right now.